So thank you very much once again for joining us, everyone. Our webinar is entitled Voices from the Field, Lessons, Strategies, and Stories on Ending FGM-C in Communities. And it aims to highlight innovative strategies implemented by ActionAid and Amref Health Africa in communities, including initiatives such as the school-based anti-FGM-C clubs and couple forums. My name is Chichi Undia, and I serve as the director of the FGM Data Hub, which is a regional program of the Population Council. The Population Council works closely with the girl generation. I'll be moderating today's webinar. My co-moderator is Jeremiah Nkamasiai. He's a senior journalist from Paran Africa Limited in Narok County, Kenya. He's a digital FGM-C champion and one who uses his radio platform to advocate against FGM-C. Jeremiah, would you want to unmute and just say hello? Oh, I'm afraid we can't hear you. Sorry about that. We're not able to hear you, Jeremiah. Try again. Okay, sorry, we can't hear you. Maybe we can just resolve that. Let's see if we can resolve that behind the scenes. So while Jeremiah resolves that, I just want to let us know that today in this webinar, we're going to be hearing some amazing testimonials from a student, another from a teacher, one from a parent, and also from colleagues about the work of the girl generation as we focus on accelerating positive change in social attitudes toward ending FGM-C. In addition, we are going to explore ActionAid's Facilitators Manual for Girls Clubs. It's a global public good that provides girls with essential life skills and information through the facilitation of peer-to-peer clubs. And these efforts align with our vision of a world where women and girls can freely exercise their rights, expand their choices, and live free from all forms of violence. Jeremiah, do you want to try again?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Great. Go ahead and say hello.
So, hi everyone. My name is Jeremiah Ngamasiai, working at Paran Africa Limited. That is a Paran TV and Paran Radio based in Nairobi, Kenya. So again, I'm a champion for the end of FGM stroke C here in Kenya, and using my platforms to advocate for the same. Yeah, we'll be with you all in this webinar, and thank you very much, Chichi. Back to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jeremiah. I just want to let everyone know that we are interpreting the webinar in French, in Amharic, and in sign language, as you would have seen already. So please click on the globe sign below the screen in order to select your language of preference. Please note that if you need interpretation in Amharic, interpretation from English to Amharic, then you need to select Korean, because unfortunately Zoom does not have an option for Amharic language, okay? So you're going to have to select Korean if you're looking for Amharic. Please note also that we are recording this webinar in order to share it externally. We are going to be taking questions and comments at intervals during this webinar. So as the webinar goes on, please type your comments and your questions into the chat box. That way we can look through them and select some for the speakers to engage with. And just a reminder to all of us, as we engage in this discussion and as we share our thoughts, please let's be mindful of the sensitive nature of FGMC and all forms of gender-based violence and the impact of violence on survivors. We encourage that this space remain just an open dialogue, one full of understanding and empathy. And we would really like to create a support for all survivors here. At this point, thank you once again, and allow me to welcome Madame Ipato Surum, who is the chairperson of the Anti-FGMC Board of Kenya. I would like to ask her to formally welcome us and to give her opening remarks. And Mrs. Ipato Surum was appointed the chairperson of the Anti-FGM Board in January 2023 by His Excellency President William Ruto. One of the roles of the board is to uphold the dignity and empowerment of girls and women in Kenya through the coordination of initiatives, through awareness creation, and through advocacy against female genital mutilation or cutting. You're very welcome, Madame Surum.
Thank you so much, Chichi. Let me take this opportunity to say hi to everyone who is a participant in the webinar. And again, thank you for attending the meeting. Surely I cannot take it for granted. I appreciate your effort. I also appreciate your determination in really trying to work to end FGM. Before I go far, let me introduce myself. My name is Ipato Surum, the National Chairperson for Anti-FGM Board. Myself, I'm a survivor of FGM. And besides being appointed the chairperson of this board, I had already had the passion of working with girls to try and maintain their dignity. I do girls mentorship besides my my occupation. I visit several schools. I do women empowerment at the grassroots. And so I feel that I've been appointed to a field that is within me. I don't do anything because of maybe earning anything, but I do it out of passion, out of love, and out of the tragedy that I myself went through. Let me again appreciate working together with you guys, sharing ideas because of the common agenda we have of ending FGM. All of us learn from each other. All of us interact for a common goal of maintaining the dignity of girls and women. Just to mention a few of the knowledge that I have about FGM from experience. That is why what I normally like saying that being a survivor of FGM, I can really tell the impact on myself, on other pastoralist women, other indigenous girls, and girls from those counties that that practice FGM in this country. Just to mention a few, starting from self-esteem. Whenever a girl is cut, without interrogating her deeper, you can tell the lack of confidence from her eyes. Just from looking at her standing and talking and trying to express themselves, you find that their self-esteem is so low. And that is a major, major, major problem among our girls, because even the voice of defending themselves, even the voice of trying to protect themselves from maybe anyone who comes across trying because they lack the voice. They lack the voice. And now, but lacking the voice, they do not have a way of expressing themselves and maybe claiming their rights. Girls from pastoralists or communities that practice FGM do not have a right to anything, any inheritance from the cattle, from the sheep, from land, from even money. They are just treated like kids, and they are given what that person who takes care of them, be it their husband, be it their brother, they are given what that person feels like they feel like giving them. Education-wise, immediately that girl goes through FGM, and I can tell it from myself, that immediately the girl goes through FGM, they feel like they are now grown-ups, and the mindset changes from being a child, from a student, from any other person, but to being a woman. And that is what they are told during circumcision, that you are now a woman. And once they feel they are women, they now try to assume roles of women. And immediately they go looking for men, or even men approach them because they are now women. And the next thing is teenage pregnancy, ending up to early marriage. And that is the start of humiliation and oppression of any African girl going through FGM. The mental aspect is about trauma. Like for myself, I do say that the pain was there and still fresh in my mind. But being stripped of my clothes 3 times, snatching my shuka back to myself, trying to cover my body, is the trauma that has never gone out of my mind up to now. I still feel like it happened yesterday, and I even feel that it can still happen even now, though the pain was too high. So those are the things that I may say that I'm really glad that you people are coming up together with us and trying to restore the dignity of our girls. Kenya has really taken some strides. The state of FGM in Kenya as at now is the prevalence is at 15% among women aged 15 to 49 years. But at a lower age of 0 to 14, we find the prevalence is lower, up to 3%. That is where we stay by our targeted time of 2030, we will be at 0. Achievements towards that really resulted to the drop of FGM from 21% in 2014 to 15% in 2022 is really support from our government. Among African countries, I can proudly say Kenya is the only country that has got a board in place that is working towards ending FGM. It is not only working for Kenya, we are working even across the borders of the countries that we are bordering, because we have got policies and strategies that is cross-border for cross-border issues of ending FGM. The board has really tried its best in development of policies and action plans. So far, we've got 4 counties that we've launched policies, those including Narok, including Kajiado County, including Marsabit. We just launched their work plan or action plan the other on 6th of March during the International Day of Women. The board is really investing in trying to amplify the voices of survivors. We normally say that the wearer of the shoe knows where it pinches most. And so we said, if these women who are survivors like myself can come out and speak loudly and try and amplify their voices, that is when these people will be able to protect their daughters. Because for now, I cannot accept my daughter to go through what I went through. And so we are really engaging the survivors to try and amplify their voices to end FGM. We've also been able to engage with the men And so far, we've got declarations from elders from some of the counties that are practicing FGM. The Samburu elders had done a declaration, the Rendile, Borana, Gabra, Pokot, and then Chirunjege. And again, the Elgeyo Marakwet, not Elgeyo Marakwet, but Mount Elgon elders are in the process of doing the declaration on ending FGM. Why we did this? These are the custodians of culture. They are the gatekeepers of our traditions. So we could not do this, as it is understood that fighting FGM is not a one-man show. It is not a one-person approach. It is a multi-sectoral, a multi-agency approach, or it is a multi-agency activity to end FGM. We've also done something on empowering the youth. We have the Youth Anti-FGM Network Kenya, the Anti-FGM and Network, the Youth Anti-FGM Network Kenya, that is comprised of youths of this country. We have chapters in the 22 hotspot counties, and they're also doing a very good job. With them, they're accompanied by a pool of champions from those counties, from the religion leaders, cultural leaders. We have a pool of pastors who are really working with us. We also cannot undermine or go without mentioning the collaboration with our partners. Amref has been key on the ground. ACAF from the University of Nairobi.
Oh, sorry, madam. It looks like you're breaking up. Maybe it's
Yes.
a network issue on your end. And if I could ask if you could kindly round up in about 1 minute. Thank you so much. Well,
Okay,
you're
I'm
back
almost.
now. You're back now.
Okay. So lastly, but not least, we are in the process of reviewing the Anti-FGM Act. Very important. Still so many. We came to sit and see that it has a lot of loopholes. And that one is what we are doing currently. It's not yet complete, but once complete, I just hope that I will get another forum like this to share it with you. Thank you so much. And welcome to the meeting. Let's continue sharing and sharing and sharing and try to restore the dignity of our girls. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Madam Sarum, for that powerful speech based on lived experience. We really appreciate it. And that really gives us the push to enter into the discussions with different stakeholders. Yes, a round of a virtual applause, please. I'm going to now hand over to Jeremiah. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we are now going direct to our discussion. And our first speaker is Viola Ruto, the program manager at Amref Health Africa. So we understand.
Oh, looks like there may be an internet, maybe there's a network problem on his end. So I'm just gonna pick up from where he left off, and then he can join us again later. Viola, welcome. And we know that you are the program manager at Amref Health Africa. We wanted to start out by asking you what informed the formation of Anti-FGMC schools.
Madam Viola?
Sorry, we lost you there, Jeremiah. And I've just asked Viola the first question. So Viola, you can just jump in. Jeremiah, you can take over from there. I've asked the first.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much for attending this webinar, for all the participants and also the panelists and moderators. The reason why we started the health club, the anti-FGM health club clubs in school is so that we target the boys and girls who are school going in primary and secondary schools. And we know we wanted to provide safe, accessible, and child-friendly spaces for boys and girls to learn on ending FGMC. We know that the spaces have provided the girls and boys with these, peer support and social support for girls. The girls now are able to make decisions on ending FGMC, and also the girls who have already undergone the cut are being supported to heal and to restore their dignity. Therefore, the girls clubs provide a space for learning and also for improving attitudes and beliefs towards ending FGMC. Thank you very much.
So another question, Madam Viola, is there a curriculum that is followed within the school clubs?
Yes, we have a curriculum that we follow. We call it the girl-centered curriculum or manual. And the manual not only teaches on ending FGMC and child marriage, and also ending other forms of gender-based violence, but also talks about child protection and rights, and covers life skills such as assertiveness, negotiation skills, public speaking, leadership. All these sessions are supposed to support the girls with building their voices, building their confidence, building knowledge, skills, and agency to lead, to change at their individual level, and also to lead change within their school's environment and also at the community.
Thank you very much, Viola. Back to you, Chichi.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Our second speaker is Fatuma Ahmed. Is she there? Fatuma is a pupil at Uhuru Primary. She's also part of the Girls Forum, and she facilitates peer-to-peer conversations in the village during holidays and advocates against FGM and child marriage in her community. Very welcome, Fatuma, so impressive. I'd like to ask, how has this school club that you're involved in shaped your views and your understanding of FGMC?
It helped me by understanding how few girls go through these stages and how it affects them. And it helps me learn more about how I can manage and report these kind of issues in my community. I've learned more about hygiene. Of course, hygiene, that's the most important part I've learned. I've learned that hygienic moments, hygienic when a girl is going through menstrual, or maybe she doesn't know how to use pads, or she doesn't know how to go through menstrual period. And I've learned about how I can teach my fellow peers on how they can manage FGM, on how, and I've inspired this boys and girls forum throughout my schools. Even on holidays, I tell my classmates about this boys and girls forum. I tell them how it's good for girls. I advocate more about it to them. I even tell my parents, sometimes they encourage me to go on with this project of FGM. And I'm really happy that I'm part of it. I'm really happy. And the ActionAid has helped us a lot. They really helped us, and they inspired me more and more to talk about FGM. I even go on Google research. I search more about FGM and ActionAid from the UK, everywhere only. And in my classmate, people say that, why are you in this club? I tell them that this club helps me understand how these boys and girl forums, how I can handle my life skills, and how I can potentially handle myself. So
Thank you. No, that's really wonderful to hear. Let me also ask you one more question.
Okay.
When you think about this school club, what is and all the things you're describing now, how it's changed you, what aspect of the school club would you say made the most difference for you? When you think about
At first I was a shy girl. I wasn't that confident. It boosted my self-esteem to talk about it in front of everyone. Right now, as I'm speaking, I used to not speak like this. As the way I went to debates, I went to several interviews, events, I became more confident.
That's amazing, and we can see just how confident you are. Thank you for speaking with us. I'm going to hand back to you, Jeremiah.
Thank you very much, Chichi. So for now, I would like to invite Viola Ruto back. Viola, we know that girls do not exist in isolations. After engaging them in schools, they go back to their homes and communities. Amref has been engaging parents in couples forums in Narok, Kenya. Tell us, why is it important to engage parents as couples in dialogues? How is the selection criteria done, and how are they run?
Thank you once more. We started having the couples dialogue because we understood that change happens at the family unit. So that it was very key that we engage both the mother and father of the girls, because when the girls are being engaged in schools, the girls and boys have been engaged in school, when they come back home, they need to find a conducive environment where they can still discuss and engage their parents in ending FGMC. The findings from our health club sessions, we realized that there was improvement in terms of knowledge and attitudes, but the beliefs bit was not changing much. So when the belief at the household level is strong, then the girls will still be cut. So we realized we needed to target the parents of the boys and girls, so that by the time the girls and boys go home, there's a conducive environment, and also so that we get commitments at the household level to end FGMC, which will also influence the community level decision in ending FGMC. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Viola. So our third speaker is Mary Ngalu. Is a prominent advocate for ending female genital mutilation stroke cutting in Migwera village, Kekunyoke ward, Narok, Kenya. Mary draws her learning from engaging with Amref Health Africa and is part of the couples forums. So if I may ask a question, as a parent, how long have you engaged in the couples forums, and what are you learning from the forums? Mary Ngalu.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Kwa majina ni Mary Nkarlo. Ningeomba kutumia lugha ya Kiswahili. Mimi ni mzazi.
You can unmute yourself, Mary Ngalu. Unmute yourself. We are not hearing you.
Lakini
Go on.
kwa Mary Nkarlo, mimi ni mzazi. Niko na watoto 4. Mimi nimepitia ukeketaji. Nikaolewa mapema na sikuweza kusoma kwa sababu ya kupitia ukeketaji nikiwa mdogo. Nilikeketwa nikiwa na 13 years na nikaolewa nikiwa na 14 years. Kwa hiyo harakati nilikuwa na maoni nisome, lakini singeweza kusoma kwa sababu ya kupitia ukeketaji mapema. Lakini hivi sasa tunapitia masomo kutoka Amref, na hivi sasa mimi nikiwa mzazi, mimi na bwanangu tunaendanga mikutano ya ya Amref couples na tumefunzwa ya kwamba ukeketaji iko na adhara kwa msichana na tena haitakuwa na faida, na tumeelewana tukiwa wazazi, watoto wetu hatutapitisha ukeketaji. Na hivi sasa nimeattend mkutano 3 ya couples, na kwa wakati huu tunaona mabadiliko kwa sababu baada ya mwaka moja tunaona watoto wetu wanainuka kwa masomo, wasichana, kwa sababu hapo awali msichana alikuwa nasema sitaweza kusoma kama mimi sijakeketwa, lakini saizi amealani ya kwamba akikeketwa kuna vitu mingi itamharibikia. Lakini kwa hivi sasa masomo imeinuka kwa wasichana, kuna mabadiliko, ana perform vizuri kwa sababu ameamini ataweza fanya kila kitu akiwa msichana. Ndio.
Thank you very much, Merigalo. Maybe the second and last question for you. What changes have you seen both at an individual level and at home?
Saizi kuna mabadiliko kwa sababu tukiwa Megwara village tunakaa kama group, tunawafunza na wameelewa ya kwamba ukeketaji itamuaffect msichana, na kwa hivi sasa wamejua. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Back to you, Chichi.
Thank you. I just want to mention before we move ahead that one of the things we did not mention is that Fatuma is supported by her teacher and by ActionAid staff in the work that she does as part of safeguarding. So we wanted to be sure to mention that. I'm now going to move on to our 4th speaker. Her name is Delphine Akini Odienya. She is a dedicated teacher at Uhuru Primary School in Isiolo County, Kenya. She is the facilitator of the Girls and Boys Forum at her school, and she plays a pivotal role in guiding students beyond academics alone. Welcome, Ms. Odenya. I'd like to ask, what is your exact role in supporting girls and boys in the anti-FGM school clubs?
Okay, thank you, Madam. Hello to everyone. Just as you heard, I'm Dolphin Akinyodenya, a teacher and a patron dealing with the Girls Forum. So far, this forum has really made me a proud teacher because I've been able to engage with these learners, both boys, and I've talked to them about the general effect of FGM. And to date, I'm even getting much happier because the parents are seeing sense in this. When we started, you could not tell a girl not to undergo FGM. You being that it's a community that values this. But currently, after going through the trainings, the forums, the guidance and counseling that I've been doing to the learners, I'm happy to say that the parents are seeing this as a positive way and they are taking it positively, and they can even allow their learners to go through the trainings. We do this most of the time during school hours, and we always have the forum immediately after classes, and I spend most of my time with both boys, just giving them knowledge on the general effect of this thing, FGM, I mean. And even when I go through the modules that we are given, I can testify that most of the learners, they are willing to join the forum because they now coming up to understand the effect they always get. Because we realize that this thing, most of the learners were even shy to talk about it. They were not even allowed to mention a girl not to undergo through the FGM. Even boys were saying, I cannot marry. A girl was not undergone FGM. But right now, themselves, they are saying it is not good. and they're promising with the time when they get at that age, they will not allow their young ones to undergo through this. So I'm a happy teacher, very much happy to be engaged, and I want to appreciate the ActionAid for the support. Even right now, I'm facing challenges. More and more girls, even boys, are begging me to join the forum. But now, being that we have a number, you cannot engage everybody because of timing and some kind of limitations. I'm getting challenged when it comes to numbers. Almost everybody within the school wants to join, both boys and girls.
Thank you, Delphine. You've in some ways you've kind of entered into the second question I was going to ask, which is good. So I just want to ask, is there anything else when you think about noticeable changes that you've seen as a result of your role in the last 1 year? Is there anything else that you've noticed that you'd like to share?
I've seen extremely, a very big change so far. Now, as I said before, when I joined the school, you could not tell a girl not to undergo FGM because they believed, according to their culture, any girl who has not undergone FGM should not get married. So when I came in and talked to them about the effect, they understood. So to me, there's a change. Even the parents are saying this thing has nothing good, being that they also went through it and they have the effect with them. So that fear of talking about it is no longer there. They are free to share their experience. Some are even giving you information about an issue. When they realize that somebody is just about to undergo FGM within the community, it's the learners giving me information, madam, what do we do about this? I had someone talking about a girl being taken for FGM. What can we do as a club? Is there anything we can do? So for then we come in, talk to the organizers, and they always give us support. And I'm very much about that. The number has gone down compared to the way it was some years back. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you for your amazing work and for speaking with us. Thanks so much. I'm going to open up the floor now for just about 5 minutes, so we don't have much time, just for general questions and answers. And I'm going to look in the chat box because we had earlier asked that we put questions and comments in there. So let me just take a look and maybe select 2 or 3 questions because we only have about 5 minutes. So we'll go up to about maybe 3:52 Nairobi time. And I see a comment here on medicalization. So I'm throwing this out to our panel of speakers. Medicalization of FGM-C has increased and it undermines abandonment efforts put in place by state and non-state actors. What strategies can we put in place to curb this norm in Kenya and in Africa at large? That's one question. So whoever would want to take that, please get ready. Another is asking how the FGM, anti-FGM clubs in schools and the couples forums have impacted the broader community's perceptions and behavior towards FGM and what strategies have been most effective in. So 2 really great questions. Do we have any takers among our speakers to get us started with that? Let me also see if there are questions in the Q&A. If we have any takers, you can just raise up your hand. Anyone on the panel who would like to respond? Okay, please go ahead, Viola. Go ahead, unmute yourself.
Yes, so I will take up the question on the medicalization and what the program, what you are doing currently is to enhance awareness and also engage the healthcare workers. So currently we are engaging healthcare workers and also community health promoters in trainings and also in follow-up sessions and meetings and mentorship. So that is one way. But at the end of the day, it's about accelerating dialogues at the community level so that we reduce the demand for FGM at the community level and also at the facility level. So the same, not facility level, I mean for medicalization to reduce. So it's quite important that we accelerate the knowledge and understanding, attitudes change and beliefs at the community level so that the demand for FGMC reduces in both ways. Thank you. And to talk about, I think there was also a question. I don't know whether there's someone who wants to handle it or I can continue.
I didn't see any hands up, so you go ahead since we don't have much time.
Yeah, so we've also talked about the anti-FGM clubs. There was a question on the impacts. What is happening? Is there, good, I mean, is there good uptake? As you've heard the teacher talking, she said there is high demand for students to be part of the clubs, and this is experienced across board, even in Narok, where the more and more students want to be engaged. That shows that there's a lot of learning at the clubs. So what we do is to ensure that we have activities like drama, music, poetry, so that all this the students can be engaged across the school on ending FGMC. What you've seen is that girls are seeking help when they are under pressure to get cut. So that also shows that there's a lot of change among the girls themselves after they get to learn. The girls also are being supported to, engage their community, to participate in community dialogues during holidays. So that is one way that they can reach out to their communities. In terms of the change at the community level, we also seeing through observations, through observing the dialogue sessions, we are getting good feedback and commitments from the dialogues at that level, that they have made commitments to end FGMC at their household, and also they are taking responsibility to be part of advocates to end FGMC. As you've seen, Mary is a parent, but currently she's also supporting sessions to end FGMC, not only dialogues that are organized by Amref, but also other community events. So they take opportunities where they go and they talk about ending FGMC. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Viola. 5 minutes is so short. Our time is already up, but I want to just point to the fact that we have a couple of compliments here. One about how the Kenyan government is really above average when it comes to fighting FGM, which is a compliment, in addition to some congratulations to the Africa-led movement to end FGM for really focusing on supporting, issuing small grants to ensure that those at the grassroots can really have their work facilitated. There is one question as well on whether on sort of data. So who's measuring all of these different approaches? Are we collecting data to measure them? I think that's what I saw. And I just want to mention that at the FGM Data Hub, which and I'm part of the FGM Data Hub, that's one of the things that we do, which is provide technical support to partners in the field that are implementing all of this wonderful work, just to help them assess the extent to which their approaches are actually working. So yes, I'm sorry that I'm going to have to move on, but thank you everyone for your participation in this. I am going to hand back over to Jeremiah now.
Thank you very much, Chichi. I think before we move on, there's a concern. There's a parent from Megora. That is our third speaker. She was our third speaker, Mary Ngalo from Megora. I think there's someone to translate the language she spoke in Swahili. So I think there's someone to translate to English a little. I think 1 minute or 2 minutes. Stanley, kindly.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Stanley, and I am the interpreter for the parent. And one of the key things that she mentioned on the key changes that she has observed as much as corpus dialogue is concerned, one of the key changes is that there is improved communication skills and better understandings of each other needs and perspective. And at a household level, this has translated to a more harmonious environment where both partners feel supported and more effectively manage parenting responsibility together. And this often leads to a more balanced, fulfilling family life, because when parents are engaged together with their daughter, now there's a great harmonious environment where girls can also effectively communicate to their father, despite that gap where a girl always have that more respect or fear to really engage their father. But through this couples dialogue, there's an improvement, because the father and the daughter can easily communicate, and the girl can also give her voice even as much as the FGM is concerned. So that's what was the parent was trying to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Stanley, for that. I think for now, we will now shift our focus to our next speaker. That is Sela Mawit, the Women Rights Program Manager at ActionAid, Ethiopia. With over a decade of experience is promoting women's rights. ActionAid, through its Ethiopian office, has developed a global public good, a Girls Club Manual, providing girls with essential life skills and information through the facilitation of peer-to-peer clubs. So, Selamawit, I think I have questions here. The first question goes, ActionAid Ethiopia has developed the Girls Club Manual. Why was it developed?
Thank you so much, Jeremiah. Thank you so much, everyone who's joined, and all the speakers that have spoken before me, that for the very inspiring stories that you've shared. So as you've mentioned, yes, ActionAid Ethiopia has developed this girls facilitation manual as part of the TGG ALM FGM program. So the reason for its development was mainly to formalize and provide guiding document for facilitation of curriculum of the girls club delivery in Ethiopia. So it's to support a consistent and informed quality delivery in the clubs. So it focuses on girl-centered approaches. And as you know, in ActionAid, we embrace the human rights-based approach, and we work with girls who are excluded, and we support them to be organized in the club so that they can voice and understand their rights, so that they're able to claim it. And as in Ethiopia, as we speak, as in the EDHS report, it shows that FGM stands at a rate of 65%. And we have a national alliance and a roadmap that was developed, and empowering adolescent girls was recognized as one of the major promising interventions that could support in our journey towards ending FGMC.
Yeah, thank you. So does the manual target girls only? And if so, why? Can it also be useful for boys? Who is the facilitator when using the manual?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question, Jeremiah. So when we started with the program, it was originally planned that only girls would be using this facilitation manual for conducting the peer discussions. Our target girls are between the ages of 10 to 17, and we had organized them. And the manual was also prepared for that purpose. But as I mentioned earlier, we use the Girl Center manual, and we do consultations with the girls so that they can meaningfully contribute to the program. And when we do the consultations, one of the ideas that came from the girls was that it is important to involve boys as well, because it would be like clapping with one hand. So it is necessary to bring boys on board. So we organize the boys clubs as well, so that they can use the same manual to conduct the peer discussions. And to respond to the last questions you raised, the facilitators are the girls and boys themselves. They were provided the facilitation training and also training on the facilitation manual. And so it is them, supported by gender club supporting teachers who are leading the discussions and using the manual for they're the ones facilitating.
Thank you so much for that question is, what results are we seeing after using the manual?
Yeah, so In Ethiopia, the TGG program started in 2022, and we have been seeing very promising results in changes in attitudes. And the girls and boys that were participating in the peer discussion groups were also prominent in sharing what they have learned in the mini media sessions that they regularly have. But unfortunately, in the second year, there was a disruption of the program because of the unanticipated conflict that arose in the areas that we are operating. And so, we had anecdotal observations that there was increased awareness among the girls on the harms of FGM and the benefits of embracing egalitarian principles. And so what we're doing right now is we are adapting to the conflict context so as to do these programs out of school settings and including out of school girls as well in other places. Yeah, because of the conflict, schools have been closed for more than a year. So we are adapting and trying to start these discussions in out of school settings.
Right. Maybe the last question for you. Can the manual be adapted in a different context, and what do users need to keep in mind?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks so much for that. And I really encourage everyone here to really go through the manual. It's very comprehensive and it's very rich, and it goes it has a total of 23 sessions. It touches on self-esteem, goals and aspirations, gender, sex, gender roles, gender-based violences, FGM and other harmful traditional practices, power dynamics, and support systems in the community to address violence and FGM cases. And it's very comprehensive. I believe it's very adaptable. It's very easy to adapt it in different contexts. But as I mentioned, we use a gender transformative approach and girl-centered approaches. So it's important to contextualize, especially when it comes to the exercises and the examples under the different sessions. It would be important to tailor it to the needs of the context and the service providers in terms of GBV and FGM could be different in different contexts. So once that is settled, I think I really encourage organizations to adapt this manual, as I believe it will be very helpful. And I also want to recognize partners' efforts in this regard as well in ActionAid, Somaliland, Kenya, as well as Amref in doing the same and adapting and using facilitation manuals.
All right. Thank you very much, Selamawit, for that. And maybe for now, we want to open this to question and answer for the next or some comments. If you have some comments in the question and answer box there for the next 5 minutes, maybe I can read some comments and questions in the chat box. I can see he's saying, how is anti-FGM board will assist Isiolo in policy on FGM ongoing? Okay, he's saying Abraham Wako Isiolo, human rights defenders. Maybe someone as one of our speakers will answer that. Then another comment, Sosta NGO, when we talk about FGM/C, we did more awareness raising, but still exist. So how we can stop for that traditional practice? I think that's a question. So maybe if one of our speakers can tackle those two questions before we move on. Anyone? Or should I read the questions again? It goes, how is anti-FGM board assist Isiolo in policy on FGM? Yeah, that's the question from Ibrahim Wako, Isiolo human rights defenders. Another one, Abdullahi, when we talk about FGM/C, we did more awareness raising, but still exist. So how can we stop for that traditional practice? Thank you. So that's another question. So we have 5 minutes or less, like 4 to 3 minutes to end up this. So maybe one of our speakers can handle that before moving forward.
Hi, Jeremiah, just a brief reflection on that question. Yeah. I think it would be important to complement our interventions, like in the program that we're doing, we don't only do awareness raising. Yes, that's also very important, but since this practice has to do more with social norms, it would be important to engage religious leaders, cultural leaders, and also the local government. As most of you have mentioned, it's a grave violation of human rights. It's a crime. It's agreed that it's the same in many criminal codes of different countries. So it's important to have consolidated efforts that go beyond awareness raising and doing advocacy work towards increased punishment and things like that. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? So I can read out a comment here from Ibrahim Wako. He says, just to congratulate ALM local approach support to medium small grantees so that we can empower our people in fighting the vice to end FGM. As a lesson learned throughout our project, we have a lot of achievements, lesson learned, case studies, working well with the local communities. He says, thank you, Amref and partners, and even all stakeholders in this work. So that is a comment from Ibrahim Wako. I think if there's no other concern, we'll just answer them as we're moving forward. Yes, back to you, Chichi.
Thank you. I see someone had indicated that someone raised their hand.
Okay.
Would that person like to just ask their question quickly? Well, and then we'll proceed. Abdikani. And if not, let me just indicate that in response to the question about, who is measuring all of this, I just want to, I had forgotten to indicate that in addition to all the evaluations going on, the ALM program is convening proof of concept workshops to give communities themselves a chance to participate and to actually, give their own evaluation, from their own perspective on how all of these interventions are working together to make a difference. So please look out for announcements about a webinar that will talk more about this in the month of September. Yes, go ahead, David.
Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. My name is David Kawai. I am the Community Implementation Lead for the TGG ALM program. And a very good question has been asked about how the Anti-FGM board is able to support the team in Isiolo to come up with a policy. Allow me to point out that in TGG ALM program, we have partners, and one of our partners in Isiolo is ActionAid International. And ActionAid is already in the process of working with the Gender Technical Working Group in Isiolo to come up with a policy. It is already drafted and many stakeholders are involved. And I would want, if we can, those of us as activists in Isiolo, let us link up with ActionAid and support will be found out. And we shall be able also to finally review this document with the Anti-FGM board. So thank you very much.
Thank you, David Kamwai, for that really important piece of information. Believe it or not, we are coming to the end of this webinar. And as we do that, I would like to invite Madam Medina Abdi. She is the Director for Gender at Isiolo County. She's a passionate gender equality advocate who works very closely with the Girl Generation program. I'd like to invite you, Madam Abdi, to kindly give us the closing remarks.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all well. I'm Medina Abdi. I'm the Director for Gender for Isiolo County Government, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the speakers, all the participants. I've read through quite a number of comments. We really appreciate all the work that you are doing on the community level and all levels that you are in your various departments. On behalf of the Deputy County Secretary, who would have also loved to be here with us today, but unfortunately he couldn't, and he has asked me to pass my regards to you, Mr. Mohamed Buru. So I just want to say a few things. I've had quite a number of comments that there's a lot of work being done in the FGMC space, and one of our partners like ActionAid and so many other partners in Isiolo, we work very closely, and that is the important part of partnership because we reduce duplication, number one. Number two, we co-plan and we work together so that in areas, if a new partner comes in, we can always ask them to work in another area if another partner is in a certain area so that we don't duplicate our work. And the other thing is, as a department, we also go around, we work with communities, we have male champions. As you're all aware, our community is a patriarchal community where men are the people who make most decisions. So we try and work with these decision makers, religious leaders, elders in the community. And I'm also happy about this program, the school program where boys are also involved, since we cannot leave one party out, and especially now the men are the ones who are making decisions, most of the decisions in our community. We have to work closely with them. And I'll give you an example in a place called Sericho in Isiolo. We've worked very well with the male champions there. The elders actually they tell us we don't want this vice, we don't want our girls to be cut, but it's the women who are driving the FGM. So one day I went there for just community sensitization, and they gave us the names of the cutters, and they said, here are the cutters, you talk to them as a woman. So I said, this is a very good step that we are already going to. I know we have so many male champions in Isiolo. We have the ActionAid FGM male champions as well. So for men to come out and say, no, we don't want to do this, it's a huge step in our communities. So we really appreciate all the work that is being done around this. We are still a long way away, but I think we're heading in the right direction with better collaboration and better planning. So I just, one last thing that I would like to mention is I'm also a survivor, so I can understand the pain, the frustration that women and young girls are going through. So I can relate to what these women and girls are saying. And for me to speak out and be part of their voices is also a plus for the department and for the government, because they can relate, and I can also relate to what our girls are going through. So I just want to take this opportunity to thank everyone, and I don't want to take so much of their time. So I'd just like to say thank you, God bless you, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Abdi. And on that note, we're going to consider this meeting closed.